Everybody, Rosanna here, Rosy Glow. I hope you're well. I wanted to share this wonderful news with you because I finally got to catch up with Despina on Monday to meet her gorgeous little girl, Christina Louisa, who was born on Friday the 13th, so a few days after her due date. Now, if you did see the video regarding Despina and her long quest to become a mum, it's really touching because I've known her for many years and she was coming to yoga classes regularly for years and years and years as she was on this journey of trying to conceive. Now, she had low egg reserve, so low AMH. Hello everybody who's joining. And we knew that this was an issue that was actually causing issues with her fertility, and she had already been through 4 failed cycles of IVF before she started to work with me and my Conceive with Ease program. Now, the reason that I wanted to make this video, not just to celebrate her beautiful story, because so often we get told that, you know, we have a condition that is making it harder for us to actually conceive, and therefore we're going to need some support to do that. And this may well be the case, but there is a huge component that plays a part in whether you get any kind of assisted support, so IVF, or whether you conceive naturally. And this is in your ability to believe that you can have a baby, that you can be pregnant, and that you can grow a baby to term that is healthy and give birth to it. And this was something that Despina had to really work on before she actually went for her 5th round of IVF, conceived, stayed pregnant, and birthed this baby naturally on Friday the 13th. And the whole focus on health is what I wanted to really talk about today, because we had Baby Loss Awareness Week a couple of weeks ago, and it's a horrible, horrible thing for anyone to go through, to lose their baby in pregnancy, miscarriages, at birth, with stillborns, and obviously as babies are born and the challenges they may have with health conditions that might mean that they don't actually survive very long. And in my work, I have worked with over 5,000 women and their partners and their babies in the last 18 years. What I have found is the healthier we are in physical body, in mind and emotional state before we actually start the fertility journey, the conception journey, the better the results. And this doesn't just mean that you're more likely to fall pregnant easily, it's that also you are going to be more likely to have a viable pregnancy, and therefore less complications at birth, and therefore, less complications in the labour and less problems at birth. So this will really support a baby's ability to thrive and a mother and father to enjoy their journey. Now, I say all of this because obviously I do run a program that supports you to get there, and it's really something I call preparation for parenthood. It's not just about getting pregnant, because I see so many women and their partners struggle to get pregnant, and their stress levels are so high that they're just focused on this end result, which is having a baby at all costs. And actually, in the end, they get very stressed. It puts a lot of strain on their relationship. It puts a lot of strain on their own personal happiness. And though they may well get the result of having a baby, the added complications that can come from being stressed in the fertility period and then the pregnancy period can really affect the bonding and the enjoyment of parenting, and also the health of the baby long term as they become a young child and late into teen and adulthood. Prevention is better than cure. We know this. We know that the government has a manifesto called the First 1,001 Days Manifesto, which is all about how our time in the womb, our time from conception through to the first 2 years of life, really shape our health, our well-being, our ability to thrive rather than just survive the environment we're born into. And this is why I work with women the way I do. This is why I go as deeply as I do, because it's not just about having a baby at the end. It's about having a healthy baby, a healthy mum, a healthy partner, and everybody being able to have an enjoyable and cohesive journey into parenthood. What else did I want to say about this? Well, with Despina in particular, just seeing her holding this little girl in her arms, and I'm going to post a photo of me and her, and also one with Despina. It's just such a joy, because I know for so long she wanted to have this baby, and she had to go through so much in herself, hello Cherie, to be able to actually have this baby. She had to confront a lot of her inner shadow, and I call this ghosts in the nursery. So it's down to how we were parented, it's down to how we feel about ourselves, it's down to what we value in ourselves, what we feel is valuable about us. And so many of us, when we start our intention to conceive and we don't get met with the instant pregnancy start to doubt our femininity, start to doubt our wombs, start to doubt our purpose, because we have a biological intrinsic desire to grow life. However, we're also carrying a lot of trauma in our cellular memory, and nature has a very clever way of saying, okay, I know you want this, but to have this, you need to clear this first. And what I see with women who are really challenged to have a baby, and they're constantly, finding every month they're getting their period rather than being pregnant, that it can really feel like it's not fair. Why is it so easy for so-and-so? Why is it so easy for this person? Look, there's pregnant people all around me. Why can't I have this? And I truly believe every woman has her own unique story. I talk a lot about post-World War trauma, and I think it's very important for us to understand that trauma passes from one generation to the next when it is not dealt with. This is called cellular memory. And it is getting harder for people to conceive, partly because we're more stressed than we ever have been in terms of ongoing stress. So that is chronic stress because of just life, basically, in the fast-paced life. Also, we are degenerating in terms of health. We have all these artificial foods, basically, that our bodies do not recognise. We are bombarded with chemicals. We are bombarded with stimulation, left, right and centre. And if we want to grow healthy babies, we need to be as healthy as we can be. And this is why when you are having a challenge, the key is to be able to actually step back, look at what that challenge is trying to teach you, and rather than just forcing your way through it no matter what, actually take it as an opportunity for growth. We're told that we're born with all the eggs that we're ever going to have. And what happens with this is there is more recent research that says there are stem cells within our ovaries that actually will, under the right conditions, produce more eggs. And so what happened with Despina was in her journey with me, she ended up doubling her AMH. She doubled her egg reserves, which according to the medical profession is not really possible. Egg reserves will only go down, but we're seeing that actually changes. And this goes back to my original point. There's when we have a physical issue, so endometriosis, blocked tubes, painful periods, there can be all sorts of things that can happen, like low AMH, low sperm count. These are physical conditions, but they can be addressed physically, emotionally and psychologically for ultimate results. So when something has manifested in the physical realm, it does need to be dealt there, but the backstory also needs to be dealt with. We don't have issues with our womb if we have a healthy relationship with ourselves as women, with our sexuality, with our creativity, with our power, with our place in the world. It's that simple. So, I see so many women running away from themselves, determined that they want this experience of being a mother, but not being prepared to actually look at the stuff that's preventing them from being a mother, and almost wanting to numb out dealing with the challenges before that and actually finding a way to be pregnant. In the same way that when we give birth, we can have all sorts of analgesia, so we can't feel it, the actual process of giving birth, but there is always an after effect. And that after effect is we can end up with damage, we can end up with issues with our back and so forth. It's the same with not taking the time to look at the deeper issues that may be affecting our fertility. If you don't deal with them before you conceive, if you do manage to conceive, those same issues will come up throughout the pregnancy. And so many women, especially if they've had a tough time getting pregnant or they've had repeat miscarriages, challenges during the pregnancy, will go through their whole pregnancy stressed. And this is what I try to prevent. Well, I don't try, I do prevent. This is what I do with people, is to help them to start to trust their bodies. And really I follow a 3-step process, which can be broken into 6 steps, but it's really a 3-step process. It's look at your intention, look at what is standing in the way of you actually having that, and clearing that so that you can then maintain a higher vibration until you get the results that you want. Most of the blocks are in our mind. A lot of it is to do with giving ourselves permission and allowing ourselves to have what we want. It also can reflect that our relationships need some work to balance out, and that will always be a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So I work with the mother, I nurture the mother, I teach her how to nurture herself, so this is the mother-to-be, the mother who wants to be, so that she is then in a position to really trust her body, trust herself, trust her innate wisdom. Because where do babies grow? They grow in the darkest part of us, the place that is beyond judgment. And most of us have judgment wounds. Most of us have an inner critic that is very nasty, We have voices in our head that often can be maternal and paternal voices that are not very encouraging, not very loving. And if we do have a history that leads to us wanting to have children to actually provide a different maternal and paternal and nurturing experience because the one we had wasn't ideal, we have got to clear up the trauma that was there in order to be able to not recreate it in our moments of not being fully conscious. So in honour of Baby Loss Awareness Week, we have decided to offer half-price breakthrough calls for anyone who's interested in learning more about the Conceive with Ease course and how it can benefit them. And it really is for women who are looking to conceive naturally and women who are going through assisted fertility methods. It more than doubles your chances of actually having a positive result first time or second time whenever you're starting your assisted fertility journey. And with all the knowledge that you learn on the course, this is how you get pregnant naturally without having to spend months and years trying. Essentially, we do need to balance the frequency of the parents to the soul that wants to come, and this usually does mean some lifestyle changes that are more to do with the way we perceive ourselves and we perceive life, and the shifts we are willing to make in order to soften to receive that which we want. We can't stay as we are. If you're not getting what you want, you can't stay as you are and expect to get what you want. Nothing is ever solved. No problem is solved from the place that, it's been created in the first place. So please bear in mind as I share all of this with you that this isn't about any of you having done anything wrong if you're not getting pregnant at the moment. It's about you understanding why you're not getting pregnant, understanding that you did not create those conditions, but if you do want to get pregnant, you are going to need to deal with the stuff that is there that's preventing you and from having the results that you want. And doing the pre-work is so important because 3-4 months before an egg is released is the time period, and the sperm that is going to be used to actually fertilise an egg is programmed 3 to 4 months before the actual month of everything happening. So being able to adjust ourselves and our perception to our environment helps us to create safety within, and that then creates the ideal conditions for a baby to be conceived. I've seen this work so well. With all my clients, I see it work consistently. It's just the persistence, the commitment, the integrity, the accountability that is required from you to really not BS yourself and to do the work and to know that it's not doing it with your head, it's doing it with your full being that's important. That can seem scary for people, and that is why I offer the coaching support that I do, because I know how important it is to feel nurtured in order to feel safe to bring life to this planet. And I'm the mother of a nearly 18-year-old now, and the lessons I've learned in terms of where I was at and what I would do differently now in terms of preparing to conceive again, the proof's always in the pudding. And seeing our children suffer is something we all want to minimise as much as possible. We want to be the beacons of light, the strength, the integrity that can support the children we're bringing to this world to be able to manage in the world that they're in without needing to numb out all the time because life feels too painful. So just consider if for you life feels too painful, if your focus is on what you don't have rather than what you do want to create, and how much you would want to be in your own womb right now. These are all very important. Thank you. It's not my house, but I'll take it. It's my beloved's house, so it's all good. But yes, if anyone has any questions whilst I'm live, please do ask me. Otherwise, I would just invite you to make the most of the half-price breakthrough call and have a chat with me, because even that call will be very helpful for you to navigate where you need to go next on your journey. And should you decide that working with me is the right idea, then making that possible, this is the first step to making it happen. So I think I'll leave it there for now. Sending you lots of love, and I'll send some pictures of Espina and her baby, Christina, and also I'll be doing a little interview with her later on when she's ready. Thank you so much. Namaste.